Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the highest level amateur road racing sanctioned by the SCCA. Max Just is one of these drivers. Driving is his passion. Data is his profession. We're here to find out the similarities between the two. Let's get going.
Since the first time I came to Atlanta, I came here once to watch a race, kind of like this one. I wanted to go back to racing, I had not gone back to racing since Argentina. And then I talked to the guy, he was one of the flag workers, and he told me next year this could be you, and it was.
He's gonna win.
You have something that you're chasing with all your heart.
So how'd we do?
No, it was okay. It was the first time out today, so and we had to check. We have new brakes, so we didn't show the true pace, But the track was a little slippery, so I was personally very cautious.
Right.
But it was right there, I think we'll be fine. We'll
20%, 10% off?
No. This morning it was probably 50% off where we're going to be when we really go fast. Data drives our decisions, including coupled with the feelings that we get of the race car, which I would argue that is an input, that it's just it's less factual as what I get out of the data system. But the combination of both things, the feeling and the data elements that I get out of the car, are those combinations. I use them to make decisions on what I need to do differently and what the car needs to do differently, so that the next time we go out, our lap times are better. In the past, if you think about it, the businesses operated out of intuition. You had a strategy, you believed in that strategy, and then through some facts, some feelings, you would make decisions on how to take a company forward. But the reality is that as the times went by and we have so many new technologies that we use to run the company, the information that we get is a lot more rich than what it was even 10, 20 years ago. So the companies that are truly successful are doing what we do here in the racetrack. They use that data to make decisions to improve both internally and externally, and those that don't are struggling to cope with the times.
Well, I'm Max's wife. From my perspective, he's a problem solver at work. He's so versatile. Like, he can be in any situation that has some fire going on, and he's the best at looking at all angles and figure out how to solve it. So, I think he's really good at sort of seeing the worst case scenario in advance. Like, what can happen? What could go wrong? And he will fix it.
So I already got the data from the car.
So you don't download it, that's quicker.
So same thing, it's like I said, if you wanted to just watch the video, you could click on the file and watch the video. But when you open it in Race Studio 3, it shows up as a device for the Smarty Cam.
Oh, I see. You cannot just blindly run data models and believe on the outputs of them, because you have to understand the context of it and be able to interpret the the results of those models and pick a good one, one that perhaps isn't as good, but perhaps gives you more consistent results.
Right, so you were just talking to Trent about the new data system.
Yep.
What initial takeaways on just seeing it for the first time?
It's a huge upgrade because we have, well, first of all, now we have video and data synced up. So as he was saying, every inch of the track is now mapped, both from a video standpoint, plus from the data collected from different sensors. In this car now we have brake sensors, steering inputs, acceleration, the accelerator pedal position, and then we have the system itself has a GPS that measures a number of different things like lateral acceleration, position in the track, speed. So from there up to now, all I could measure was how I was doing in terms of the speed at every point of the track. But now we know how much pressure I'm applying to the brake, which I didn't know before. And now I know how I'm taking the turn, which before I didn't know. You know, through the analysis of data, we can create a model or adjust the variables of the car to make it go faster for one lap. And that's a very different story when you try to go fast for 30 laps. Perhaps you choose a model that gives you more consistent results at a slightly lower pace, but in the overall context is better. That's where the human understanding the context of the data that you're utilizing, the models that you're utilizing them for, is very important for the results, you know, to drive results. So what is good data? Good data is that we can use to draw conclusions, data that we can trust, data that when we see it, it meets the standards, and data that we can utilize to make conclusions of, in this case, the performance of a car, or in the case of a company, the performance of a process, the performance of an organization overall. If we don't have data of good quality, then nothing works.
Well, I got car 99 blocks installed right here in front of me right here. We're going to check and see if you need anything.
Two turns look good. It's basically one that carries
one
over the
through
problem,
three,
and then five,
some,
and four I have a lot.
six. Well, yeah, six here, and six is. So we have the little track map on here, and you see it doesn't lead to anything.
No.
The only thing 6 brings you to is a brake zone for an even tighter corner.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like you break it down, and 6 is an entry speed corner. You want to drive it in late on the brakes and do just enough to gather it up.
Right.
And that's why you can kind of get away with being sloppy, because if you're on the power late, it doesn't matter. You're not about to go on a straight. You don't need that early power, good exit. It's all entry speed. The momentum you carry to the exit really doesn't matter because it doesn't take you anywhere. But if you think about how quick that whole part of the track happens, we go from 1.9 seconds off to 2.3, so that's 0.4 of a second
In one turn. Yeah.
just in the matter of 4 seconds of lap time in that one turn.
Proportionally it's huge. Several years ago, when I started my career in the manufacturing industry, for me to collect data on how a performance of a process was, I had to sit down next to a operator in a machine and time him. Now all that same production line is automated. I can download all the information and run the same models that I can run before, but the difference is time. The speed to insight, from the point you capture the data to the point that you make a conclusion and take action, got much shorter. However, companies need to want to do the leap towards decision making and being data-driven as an organization. And not all companies are being able to do that, particularly those that are not for decades. They have to make a conscious decision to become data-driven. What I bring to the table is the driving element. Tanner brings in the knowledge and intimate knowledge on how the car is built, and Kevin brings the knowledge on how to set up the car. So between the three of us, if we weren't collaborating and communicating effectively with each other on how to do things better, what I need to do differently, what the car needs to do differently. Leadership is what gets the group together, what allows us to set that winning mindset as a group. Winning in the corporate in a corporate environment it isn't winning a race, but it's achieving another level of performance, is achieving a particular target, implementing a new system. Whatever that is, it has to be hard, and we all need to be committed towards doing whatever we got to do to achieve it. As long as there is trust, you can achieve very difficult things.
What's a winning mindset to you?
In this context is to do everything you can to try to get the victory and to show up here thinking and visualizing yourself as going through the finish line first.
I don't think I'm his coach, but in a sense, I influence him a little bit on his mindset, like especially on this, like when it comes to the track, it's always like, hey, you know, like, wish me luck, here I come. So I'm always like, yeah, you're a winner, remember, you have to stay in that frequency.
I do feel that coming in thinking that you will win gets you closer. You may not get 100% to the objective in the end, but if you get 80% or 90% towards it in this one try, it's a hell of a progress. It's much more in my head than coming in thinking, okay, factually, I think my pace is more around 4th or 5th. Some of those things that we talked about it yesterday, we didn't discuss what it takes to do it, but think about it. We're talking about what is there to fix is, look, the car can go faster. So you have to trust that the car will go faster, and you actually have to go ahead and do it. That commitment would not be there unless you have something that you're chasing with all your heart. And that is winning in this context.
Like if you're not struggling, you're not pushing yourself to the limit. If you don't push yourself to the limit, you're not maximizing your potential, period.
Usually the difficult decisions come when you have to say, okay, I'm not there yet, I have to improve. And usually the competition is getting better as well. So then the constraints, the gaps are constantly moving. And that's what's fascinating to me about competing versus coming here to try to go fast by myself.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on the lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true stock trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The priest come freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A ball break sky high. Check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go! Let's go!
All right, so we just got the data from today.
Mm-hmm.
You've overlaid it on the data from yesterday.
Correct.
We can see obvious improvements based on the conversation that you had with Trent.
Correct.
So let's go through those now.
Yeah, and if you remember when we discussed with Trent, the main issue that we had was the very first turn.
Yeah.
In that turn, we were losing a lot of speed by additional braking that we didn't need, as the car could handle a lot more speed in that particular corner. And that caused us to also carry those issues to the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So the key was to get that one turn right, and we were missing approximately I think 6 miles, 0.4 of a second,
right,
and 6 miles per hour.
Got it.
So this morning, the way we broke it down is by looking at the video.
Mm-hmm.
You could see where I was braking, and most importantly, where I was applying the throttle for the first time after the braking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part where I focused on. There were other areas in the track to focus on, but we started with the area where we're losing the most.
Right.
You know, and you can see clearly here as we go through the lap. At the beginning, it looks more or less the same, but I back on the throttle earlier. The red line is the best lap from today that ended up being a 126.8
Mm-hmm.
versus the lap from yesterday that was 127.3. And you can see the distance between these two shows you that we turned that same corner much quicker than what we turned it yesterday, and that's what the red being above the green signifies.
And we can see that in the video if you just play it, right?
Yes, you can see here, for example, we're back to this point prior to us braking. It will look about the same, but the point we gotta pay attention is that when we start accelerating, we'll see the top part of the video, which is the fastest lap,
Yeah.
To accelerate quicker than the bottom part of the video. So
Which
you'll
is,
see.
bottom is yesterday, top
And
is
top
today.
is today.
Right.
And the top is the red line, and the bottom is the green line.
Perfect.
I brought, like you said, a lot of things, particularly the mindset and the focus on winning, you know, from here into the corporate world. But for the corporate world to here, what I brought is the structure, you know, and the discipline. Hiring a data science is very easy. You just go out there and you'll hire, pay them enough, and they'll come. But having the data science only know about data isn't enough. The whole company needs to have a notion of some sort on how important it is and how to understand what to do with it. And to me, the most important thing is to have a common goal that everybody signs up to. And that's where, as a leader, it's important to invest time in trying to create that goal and make sure everybody gets it. And that is very hard. That I have not found a way to do it with data.